Mentioned Max Verstappen, though. I gotta talk about this. Some comments from Helmut Marko to Dutch sporting media, all but confirming Max Verstappen is going to be sticking with the Red Bull Racing unit into 2026, saying, quote, yes, I can confirm. And remember, by the way, Helmut Marko is one of the key figures for Max Verstappen within this sport. He's a huge reason why he's even at Red Bull. So yeah, again, the quote, yes, I can confirm that Max Verstappen will drive for Red Bull in 2026. He told Sport Denmark, if I'm not mistaken, or sport.de. I imagine it's Denmark. So, yeah, with this, or excuse me, not Denver or Denmark, excuse me. I don't know. He basically he told somebody. Yeah, I'm getting my geography all messed up. Whatever. But this is probably the most boring and likely outcome the whole time. There was controversy. You know, Toto and Max are both vacationing in Saradina. Everybody was in Saradina. Heck, I think Sofia Vergara and Tom Brady were there for the Jeff Bezos wedding was in the region, yada, yada, yada. Everybody was in Saradina during that last little break. But nobody knows what anyone else has in this next regulation. What's going to lead the way with the regulations? Who's really going to be in the front? And I imagine that Verstappen probably still has that exit clause. It'll still be relevant next year. So why leave now and be stuck somewhere for 4 years, 3.5 years potentially, and it not work out? I think maybe he's going to get a lay of the land.
I think, well, one, I want to give props to us for not following or falling into the speculation of really believing the Max was going anywhere. Don't get me wrong, TLPs. We definitely
we talked about it for sure.
We talked about it. We talked about it, and we talked about all the different angles, mixed matching. Y'all got pissed off because we said that Kimmy was going to get booted. I remember that. I have nightmares about those comments, but we never really believed.
That's my boy. We wouldn't do that.
At the end of the day, we were really like, look, it makes most sense for Max to just stay. It's just like it's kind of the house that Christian Horner built. Max Verstappen is just as responsible for that as well. So it just made more sense for him to stay. Aston would have to be the one that would pay him all the money. He probably doesn't want to take that leap to Aston. Mercedes, that was the only option. McLaren's locked up. Ferrari's locked up. Nowhere else made sense unless he was going to challenge himself with an Alpine, which, hey, let me just get this straight. I'm here for it because I want to see what that looks like. But we all talked about it. And it was like, look, Max is going to stay. It's fun to speculate, but too many moving parts, too much money negotiations. It's just too much. So I think
this clauses, dynamics.
I think this move is best for Red Bull. I think the only thing that
it's certainly the best outcome for Red Bull. I know that for a fact.
I think the thing that I want to know was what was the last straw to Christian Horner getting fired? Was it Max going to the leadership group and saying, "Hey, I'll stay. He's got to go." Or was it hey, Max, just want to let you know, we are firing Christian Horner. We're bringing up Mekis. And then Max has the decision, okay, do I want to see what the future looks like with Mekis? Does Max like Mekis? Does he have a pre-existing relationship with Mekis? How does that work, right? So I wanted to know, that's what I want to know. And I don't know if we'll figure it out, but I want to know if Max was like, hey, I'll stay. I want Mekis up. Or if I want Horner out, or if he was informed, hey, we're getting rid of Horner, and now he had a decision to make. Those are all of that's what I want to know personally.
I think the truth probably lies.
Make the documentary.
Yeah, we'll know when Drive to Survive comes out. I think the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe a little bit more so.
Boring.
Maybe I know, but maybe more so on the side of Jos Verstappen going to Red Bull and saying, look, my kid's going to go. We're leaving if this guy isn't gone.
Jos Verstappen is the ultimate, I get it. He's literally is an F1 driver, like a former F1 driver.
He built the driver, right? He programmed him with all the trauma and all the skill, right?
Jos Verstappen,
champion.
Jos Verstappen is like the epitome of a living vicariously through my son kind of guy. Like
100%.
Max
100%.
Verstappen is literally an adult who has his own wife and kid at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Josh Verstappen around him 24/7 like he's his agent?
I mean, again, but he is like that's his management, right? That's the guy who helps negotiate everything when it comes to the track. I'm sure he has I know he has an actual business manager, but what I'm saying is, like, as far as racing and stuff is concerned, yeah, he's
Right.
super close with his dad. His dad's been around the sport for forever, for better or worse. And
Right, but like, where's Carlos Sainz Sr.? I mean, Carlos Sainz doesn't like. I don't see Carlos Sainz
Sainz
Sr.
Senior is
everywhere
there
that
pretty
Carlos
regularly,
Sainz
but
go.
Sainz Senior is there pretty prevalently. Like, I think his manager is also his cousin, so like the family for Sainz are there too. But Josh Verstappen is a very different individual.
Let's just say this. Let's be glad that Max Verstappen is an F1 driver and not an NFL football player, because Josh would be going to the head coach every week and be like, "My son needs more playing time."
LeVar Ball of F1, basically.
I mean, if you want a deep cut, look, you want a deep cut, it'd be Odell Beckham's dad. Putting out mixtapes of other bad drivers and being like, you're gonna start him over this guy.
You mean to tell me this guy's better? Yeah, I get it. But I wanted to ask this too.
The NFL fans, sorry.
But I want to, because we cross talk NFL all the time into this. You couldn't tell we're big NFL fans too.
It relates more than you think.
It really does. There's some good crossover, but I think really realistically, again, Max is like, look, I don't want to like upend everything here. I got the leadership change I wanted. I can't leave after having that. But B, the exit clause is still going to exist in a year's time. Like, the part of it was that he didn't meet the team hadn't technically met the criteria for him to capitalize on the exit clause. So I think the speculation on what it is that he has to drop below 4th or 5th place in the World Drivers' Championship, or the team drops below 4th place in the Constructors. It's something like that. And neither of which happened by the deadline. So he was committed as far as the contract is considered. But on top of that, he's looking at the situation and going, look, if the car sucks next year, I'll know pretty early. And then we'll start gauging our options again. This conversation very well happens again in a year's time of, where's Max Verstappen going to go? What does the future situation look like? And we're going to start seeing how teams kind of structure contracts, right? Because let's say you're Aston Martin. I mean, Lance Stroll is perpetually on a year-to-year contract. You know, his dad does own the team, but if Aston Martin does look pretty good next year, let's say they come out swinging and they're like a P3 in the Constructors, and they usurp Red Bull because Red Bull have the new powertrains with the partnership with Ford, and they're building their own, blah, blah, blah. Like, that becomes a viable option because you can see the direction. You have the Honda partnership, you have Adrian Newey, all that jazz. Or Red Bull surprise people and they're a little bit better than everybody was expecting, and maybe you do want to stick around because you can still fight within the realm of a championship. It's going to be tough, but you can do it. And you have better leadership.
Yeah.
Or at least a preferable leadership, right? Mercedes, I don't think that Mercedes becomes available again. The conversations around George Russell are that he's in line for a sizable payday, big contract extension that's going to run through.
He deserves it for sure.
Which George is driven fantastically. He absolutely deserves it. And they love Kimi. Kimi's not going to go anywhere. We're going to talk about Kimi shortly. And Kimi's not going to go anywhere. So I think it's just getting a lay of the land of, like, I would be surprised. It's getting a lay of the land going into 2027. The options might look very, very different. And if Red Bull suck early, the conversations about Max leaving are going to start earlier. They're going to happen a lot faster. And we're probably going to have a lot to talk about early if they suck early.
Here's what I'll say. And then we'll get to the next topic.
Yeah.
I would say it's better for Max, even whether he stays at Red Bull or if he wants to reevaluate his options. I think it's better either way, because you can see how these other cars are doing in this new regulation. Like, regulations change everything. I mean, like, what if, I'm not hoping for this, but what if McLaren sucks booty cheeks in the next regulation, right? And then the dominance of Lando and Oscar is over, right? Like, Oscar is going to be starting to look for another team. Lando's probably going to be locked in for a while, if I had to guess. But
Oscar signed extensions, but you never know what the contract language of these, really looks like. And
exactly. So you don't know who's who's going to be successful, who's going to fail, who's going to struggle, like what's going to happen. Williams could be the
we can
reigning
speculate as much
champion in the next regulation for all we know. Right.
Yeah, like,
so it's all about waiting and seeing. And I think that's exactly what Max is doing. And in my opinion, I think that's what he should be doing.
And we have speculation about who is going to be good next year, who isn't going to be good next year. You know, everybody's talking about the Mercedes power unit. That seems to be the big topic, is that they're the furthest ahead, right, as far as the power unit development. And early on, those things really do matter. But who knows? Again, at the end of the day, we got to see what the cars even look like, how they perform. That first qualifying next year in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, that's when we're going to start to know. We're going to have actual answers, because we're going to get practice sessions. Great. All these teams sandbag and they run their programs incredibly differently. All we have to go on right now is, what is the FIA given us? What is F1 given us as a model of what these cars might look like? So we won't know until they actually get tracked. Is this the right decision for Max Verstappen? Should he have stayed? Should he have gone? Where should he have gone if he did leave? I want to know what the TLPs think down in the comments below. I know you do too, Kevin, because I mean, they give us all sorts of crazy cool engagement. This is a fun topic still. I think we're going to be talking about Max and his future for a long time.
I think Red Bull going into 26 and beyond, the new regulation as a whole, I think Red Bull is the team that you put the largest question mark next to. TLPs, let me know if I'm wrong.